Perfect. So, yeah, I'm glad you guys are all here today, and I just wanted to double check. I have like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, you got till 8:30, so
I
it's
got till 8:30.
8:05.
Perfect.
Right.
Because all of you know me, I can talk a long time. So, but yeah, I know there's a lot of issues running in that a lot of your businesses are running into, particularly right now, with just online presence in general. A big part of that's going to be advertising. And if you guys have any questions on any of this, or if you guys want to speak further on it, you can come by my office, you can give me a phone call, email, anything like that. I have a 10-person staff here that it just works with local businesses doing exactly what I'm talking about. So there's going to be three main factors that I'm going to be talking about today about your online presence, because one of them is going to be a little bit more foundational, and that's going to be the content which is on your website, because that's what people see. But a lot of people think about this content. They think, hey, I'm going to write a blog, I'm going to take pictures, I'm going to do video, I'm going to do a podcast or something like that. But a lot of people don't think about the traffic aspect. How do I get people to see it? Because you could spend $10,000 on a video, you could spend 50 hours writing a novel and have it be a masterpiece. But if you get zero eyeballs on it, like if you post it to Facebook and it says like by you and your mom, what was the point on doing any of that? You may as well have just picked up the phone and called 10 people at that point. If it says as seen by 10 people, it took you 2 hours to make the whole thing. So, there's going to be three main points I'm going to cover is, of course, content. I want to cover Facebook advertising very briefly, kind of what to look for and kind of what to start working on, and then also Google advertising. So, there's a couple things that I recommend when it comes to websites, and this will be just a really quick point, is make sure your website right now is optimized. Make sure it has all the correct information, make sure it's up to date, make sure it's mobile friendly, all these things you've probably heard 10 times before. But making sure that every one of my clients says that they're going to write a blog for themselves, and they never do because they say they don't have time. You have plenty of time to blog away about every single subject, whether that be in video, written. If you want to talk about how to manage your tenants properly as a property manager or something like that, like you can write away on all of that stuff. So just making sure that everything is up to date, on your website. Because the next couple of pieces I'm going to talk about is going to be how to drive traffic to all that new content that you're building. Because a lot of people will ask me, they'll say, oh, can't you just make my website really awesome? You don't have to advertise. And it's like, yeah, I can make your website really awesome, but don't expect to have results from that next month. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to get a brand new website, and this is going to be great, and I'm going to just be raking in the dough. That doesn't happen. When you're talking about organic SEO and your website making a huge difference in your company, until Google actually registers all that new content, until it actually works, organic SEO is going to take is basically like running a marathon. And then, the reason why I talk a lot about Facebook and Google advertising is because those are kind of like your sprints in the business, and you want to be running both marathons and sprints when it comes to online engagement. So I'll share my screen real quick here so you guys don't have to see my face. Okay, perfect. So one of the first things that I would recommend as far as content on your website that explains your company, what you do, how you do it, how to look real modern. If you do have a chance to do it right now, I know a lot of people, it might be tough with, not having customers come in their store, anything like that. But I think it would be very important if you have the chance to make a video of any sort, especially if it's able to be a high quality video, to make something like that. So this is actually something we made right before, right when the lockdown started, but actually before they shut down hair salons. So I'm gonna just show you a quick clip of a local business owner, that we did a video for, just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Making a brand video, which is basically a video that is up to 2 minutes in length that says what you do, how you do it, and who are you looking to work with. Because that's when someone lands on your website, that's what they're looking for. And they also want to see your face and everything like that. So this is a more recent one we made, but I'll just flip it real quick. Flip it on for you. Can you guys hear it okay? Let me see.
No, I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, hold on. I've done this before, I promise.
So on
when you share the screen,
where I've been able to put the computer audio onto the Zoom meeting.
So Aaron, when you share the screen, there's a button or a check mark on the left that says include computer audio. So unshare your screen, and then when you go back to share the screen, click that check mark, and the audio that is a part of the video will be heard.
That's how it was. Okay, perfect. All right.
As you were.
Hi, my name is Bethany Catalfamo. I own Lotus Den Hair Studio located in South Oceanside. Here at Lotus Den, we take care of guests, and we have a close-knit family of stylists that are extremely talented and experienced. I've been in the industry for 20 years now and have lots of experience with classes and hands-on and customer service, and we love just taking care of our clients and giving them a great experience. We specialize in balayage, color corrections, curly hair, and many things in between that. And we really love to make sure we maintain the integrity of one's hair and make sure they leave with something so much better than they came in with. When coming to Lotus Den, you can expect to enjoy a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, a cold beer, and we just want you to relax, enjoy your experience, your conversation with your stylist, and rest assured that you're in great hands and that your hair will be the best that it's ever been. Not only do we own Lotus Den, but we also have a barbershop that is adjoined to our salon right next door called Gentleman's Den, and they take care of all the men and children, and it's great to have the full family taken care of at both the Lotus Den and the Gentleman's Den. Over at the Gentleman's Den, they provide multiple services, and a couple of them are definitely like top-notch haircuts, as well as straight razor shaves with a hot towel, which is a nice luxurious service. They also will serve you a nice cold beer while you're waiting or while you're in the chair, which makes the experience that much better. We encourage you to come experience the Lotus Den. You can check out our work on Instagram or Facebook. You can also book online or give us a call to schedule your next appointment.
All right, so let's see. You guys hear me now just fine?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, as you can see that video, she said, where she was located, what she did, how she did it, and who she's looking to work with. She's looking to work with, families, basically. She wants the whole family to come to the salon, and ladies get their hair done, guys get a haircut, children get a haircut, everybody leaves with lotions and stuff. So that is that's just something when we're talking about building that content on your website. Building some sort of content like that is going to be huge for for being able to direct advertising towards it. So I'm going to talk a little bit, since I've only got 15 more minutes here, I want to break it down at least 7 and 7 here. So there's going to be 2 different ways once you do have your website with all the content that you're looking at on your on your page ready to go. You want to direct traffic to it, and there's 2 main ways I find to direct traffic to it. There's going to be Google advertising, and there's going to be Facebook advertising. And there's two fundamental differences between Google and Facebook advertising, in my opinion. This is just after running them for a while. Facebook advertising, you're basically saying, here's some people that are very likely to be my customers, and I want to get in front of them. And it's a little bit more of a brand awareness thing. It's going to be a very content-based. It's going to be 75% content, 25% management is what I like to say. And then when you're talking about Google advertising, it's going to be, you're still trying to get that same customer, but in a whole different route of going there, because this is the customer that is looking for you. So you're not looking for the customer like on Facebook. The customer is looking for you, and you're trying to show up first on that Google search. So, when people ask me what's better, Google advertising or Facebook advertising, I usually recommend doing both as a business, but it's really going to depend on your business. And it really depends on what strategy you want to use to get that customer. Do you want to look for that customer, or do you want that customer looking for you and you show up first? And by that logic, that's why Google advertising can tend to, depending on your industry, can be a little bit more on the expensive side as well, because you're trying to show up before your competition, as opposed to Facebook, where you're just trying to get the ear of somebody who you think is going to be a good customer of yours. So I'll go back to screen share here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'll touch very briefly on Facebook advertising and how it works, but basically a lot of people know about posting to Facebook, but they don't really think about advertising on Facebook. And they also don't realize that advertising on Facebook, if done correctly, you can actually get a lot of reach, a lot of engagements, a lot of really great results for very little money. So what you want to look at when you post, when you do a post, you then want to put advertising money behind it. So you can see most of the advertising money we put behind a lot of different places. So let's say last month even. Yeah. Okay. So you can see a lot of these posts have anywhere from $10 to $15 behind them. And you can see they have anywhere from like $10 to $15 behind them. But, you can see that their reach and engagement kind of like, actually, I want to go something a little bit more recent. Let's say last 30 days. It's not showing these ones, maybe last month. Facebook's being a little bit weird today. So anyway, what you'll want to look at, I'll pull up another one here because some of these are showing up as here, completed, rejected. Anyway, so what you'll want to look at is your budget, and the results. And the way you figure out your results is the amount that you spend, and then also looking at the reach, the impressions, and cost per result. So let me look at sorry. And that's one thing about Facebook too. They will send, they will change how the actual thing looks and how the menu is set up like 10 times over. But here, I'm just gonna switch over to Google Ads. So it's a very similar concept. So if, let's say we look at Google Ads. So Google Ads is going to be a little bit different as far as, when you're looking at a Google ad, what that is, and a lot of people ask me, what is a Google ad? So let's say I was looking at, I don't know, let me see, I'm just going to look up like plant gifts, since I know we have Patty here. Whenever you see this next to a result on Google, that is an ad. Someone is bidding to be in that spot. Same with all this stuff up here. Someone is bidding. You can see the word sponsored right there. Someone is bidding to be in this spot. Even if you're looking at something like a, you know, let's say you wanted to look at a plumber. Someone is advertising here, and usually there's someone advertising here, but you can also advertise on the map as well. And the way you get up there is you set up a Google Ads campaign. And so once you set up a Google Ads campaign, you're basically with all your competitors, you are bidding as to how you want to show up, you know, what rank you want to show up in, and what you're willing to pay for that click. So once someone clicks on that advertisement, that is where you pay for it, and that's why it's called pay per click. So here's what you want to be looking for, and these are just kind of like some key points of information that you want to look for when you're running an ad. So when you're running an ad, let's go maybe last month. So when you're running an ad, you want to look at, of course, how many clicks are you, first off, how many impressions are you getting? So an impression is how many screens did that show up on? How many people saw this advertisement that you're doing? And this is for a local barbecue grill company. They sell grills, they store grills, you know, stuff like that. They clean grills, you know, the San Diego barbecue, if you guys never seen them. But essentially, you'll see that they saw about close to 300,000 impressions last month, April 1st through 30th. So from those 300,000 impressions, they had about 1,000 people click on that ad who saw it. So then if we look at that, that's where you would get your click-through rate. So once you look at your click-through rate, you could see out of everybody who clicks on it, that's how you get your average cost per click, which was about 94 cents for him. And then once you figure out how many people clicked on something and what the average cost per click was, you can look at how many conversions they got. So 17 people converted, meaning they booked an appointment to either purchase a barbecue grill, get their barbecue grill restored or cleaned. And so we're able to see that as a conversion rate average. So you can see at a 0.38% conversion last month. And we could look at average cost per and we can see his average cost per conversion was about 94 cents to get an appointment. So the reason why I'm going over Google Ads so much is this is usually going to be a lot higher. You know, so if we go a couple months back even, let's take off some of these here. So if you look at his average cost per conversion, it was, in February, it was about 5 times as much as it is right now. Even if we want to look at his cost per click, it was, up to $5 at one point. Sorry, I've been going CPC. No, I gotta look at cost per, conversion value, conversions. Here we go, cost per conversion, here we go. This makes a lot more sense. So you can see his cost per conversion, was $68. I was about to say these numbers aren't adding up. So, but you can see his average cost per click used to be a lot higher. And we're bidding on a lot of the same types of things here. But you can see over the last few months, especially over the last couple months, it's a lot smaller than it was, especially back in February. So if you are looking at getting into doing Google advertisements, it could be a lot cheaper right now, depending on your industry, of course. So, there may not be a lot of people out there who are able to find your business, but you can see that, for a relatively low cost, if you're talking about even just brand awareness, for $308 over the last couple of months, this Google display ad even got 257,000 impressions, 2,100 clicks to it for about $300. So, when you're talking about, having that really nice website, having that really nice blog article, that really nice Facebook ad, anything like that, you're going to have to use Google or Facebook ads, essentially. I mean, there's some other forms you can use to drive traffic to that, which is all traffic that you can then track. And, things like—
Aaron,
Yes.
hate to interrupt. You've got about 5 minutes left, and then we'll do a Q&A.
Perfect. And I was just finishing up with my last point here. And the biggest thing you want to do whenever you do any of these advertisements is track them properly. And of course, if you guys have questions on any of this stuff, let me know. But the big thing that you'll want to do is track everything and be able to look at, big thing is, of course, forms being filled out. What ad did they come from? But a big one being the phone calls. You can also, there's plenty of programs out there so you can track every phone call coming from ads, and you can listen to the recording. We do that for free over here at our agency, but you'll be able to see small things like this.
Thank you for calling Cosmic Solar. To reach the Cosmic front office, press 1 now. To reach our—
Oops, sorry. Let's see. San Diego barbecue. That's what I meant to call.
Please listen to the following options.
San Diego, and I think it needs a tune-up. We got some, I think I got.
So you can see that we're able to listen to this call and see it's a good call that's coming in. So we look at that
what type of grill is
rate,
It's a
we're able to track which conversions are working well, because obviously this guy called. He says that he needs a tune-up on his barbecue, and you can also see the conversation's about 5 minutes long. We're able to see that, that was obviously a good call. If it wasn't a good call, it may be only like 10 seconds long or something like that. We wouldn't count that as a conversion. So that is what I have talked about. Sorry if it was a little bit confusing at some points. I'm usually a lot more engaging in person. I have a whiteboard and a whole bunch of other things I'm able to do. But I wanted to try to keep things relevant to you guys. Show you some local businesses, what they're doing, and how they're driving traffic where, maybe they were, only driving traffic from, meeting people at events, going to trade shows, all that stuff that, I mean, realistically, we all know is probably not even going to be a thing until like 2021 anyway. So if you're planning on hitting up a trade show anytime in 2020, probably not happening.
Okay, so let's do a Q&A. I have the first question. Why do I feel like I'm in the Matrix? I mean, in other words, it's good that you're there, Aaron, because even with my tech abilities, I would want somebody else to do it. There's a lot going on there.
I would say that, unfortunately with the way there's a reason I built my business, and, it was because of people like my dad who owned a custom drapery business. And he had the same half-page Yellow Page ad since 1985. And that was literally all the marketing you needed to do back in the 80s, 90s. I don't know about early 2000s even, but it was a very long time. That was all the marketing you needed to do. And he stayed plenty busy. Just for that half-page Yellow Page ads. But I mean, the great part about what you're able to do with this is that you can reach people very specifically for a very inexpensive rate. But yes, unfortunately, we're still at the point in time where I think you do need to be specialized and have knowledge of what you're doing. It's not just kind of like a set it and forget it sort of thing. If you are interested in something that's a little more set it and forget it, Yelp ads can help. That is something that you kind of flip on a switch. The only problem I have with Yelp ads is either they work or they don't. The nice part about having everything be so customizable when it comes to Facebook and Google ads is if somebody says to me, oh, I did Facebook ads and it didn't work, or I did Google ads and it didn't work, That's just like someone going up to a gym trainer and saying, I went to the gym last year and it didn't work. You know, there's a lot of questions to ask. You say, well, what did you eat? How often did you work out? Did you even go to the gym? You know, did you use supplements? All these things in between. When someone says, hey, I did Google ads, they were too expensive and they didn't work, I'd be like, that's a very loaded statement, because, you know, it depends on how you're running them, how you're managing them, what you're doing, what you're bidding on. So yeah, it is something where it is confusing, but I think there's also opportunity in that, because you have a huge ability to get your message out there. You know, like Cosmic Solar, who's a local company, I'm not sure if they're a Carlsbad Chamber member, but every time we shoot a video for them for Facebook, it's getting anywhere from 1,000 to 8,000 local views on that video, and people are acting on it. And they're a solar company. It's not like they're doing something like, you know, dog grooming or eating pizza or something.
And anybody raise your hand if you have a question? Brian.
Yeah, what would be the, you know, let's say you wanted to put together a campaign. What would a small business want to put in their budget for that type of thing to be successful? Not, I mean, obviously you can put some ads out there and you can spend whatever you want, but what's a successful marketing campaign look like?
I would say start off with, when you're talking about social media, $200 a month. You know, would be a good ad budget to start with. And of course, you can always increase or decrease in there. But I find with $200, you can kind of get a good idea of who you're reaching, how you're trying to reach. And this is also advertising to a local market. You know, if you're advertising nationally, that's a whole different ball game. But if you're trying to advertise to the San Diego area, let's say, $200 on Facebook a month, I think is a fine enough ad budget to run. To at least test things. And then when I'd say Google, I'd say if you're looking to work within, like, you know, North County, San Diego, like if you're a plumber just trying to like get some stuff, or if I seem to remember you're a CPA, you know, if you're a CPA trying to get more clients, I'd probably say, you know, of course you can work at anywhere, but I'm sure you'd prefer to work, you know, somewhere near, you know, North County, with North County people. I'd say about $500 should be a good starting point. And then from there, again, you can see what that cost per conversion is. Let's say you get a $50 cost per conversion at a $500 budget, and you get 10 new appointments from those ads. Next month, if you want 20 new appointments, you already know, well, I need to put $1,000 in. And that's the nice part about Google Ads, is that they're completely scalable. If you're, you know, of course, there's going to be some variations depending on how your budget is, but if you can get a conversion pretty reliably for 20 bucks, and then you put 10 times more budget, and of course you expand the area and everything that you're willing to work, you can get 10 times more of that.
Great. Any other questions? Scott.
Yeah, just wondered if you had a fixed budget to spend, and I know this is going to vary by business, but how would you look at spending it against, for example, Google ads or Facebook ads versus SEO?
So as I mentioned, SEO is a great strategy, but it's also a very long-term strategy. You know, I would say, you know, me personally at my agency, I include SEO with all my website packages, because I don't think SEO and the website, I don't see the point of having a website without SEO personally. You know, if you're just, you know, if you're just having a website without SEO, it's just, it kind of makes no sense to me, because then who's going to see the website? How's Google going to find it? You know, and then, why do you have a website if you don't want anyone to see it? So I think, you know, SEO should be considered a whole different thing from advertising. I think SEO is more of a foundational part. You know, that's like saying, you know, how much money are you spending on your roof foundation, and how much money are you spending on the on your home's foundation that you're building upon, and how much money are you spending on the master bathroom, and the tile in the master bathroom. It's not something I'd put in the same budget, because they're not really the same thing. So SEO, I do recommend, you know, doing SEO, but also keep in mind, you're a local small business trying to get to small business, other local, you know, consumers. If you're trying to target local consumers, I find SEO works really well, either if you're trying to work super local, you know, and say like, hey, I'm just trying to do Carlsbad financial advising. And you write a whole bunch of blog articles about Carlsbad financial advising that are going to be relevant to Carlsbad people. Or if you're trying to hit a national audience. But if you're trying to go anywhere in between, don't expect any real good results from SEO. And like I said, yeah, it's more of a marathon. You're not going to, it's not like you're going to write a blog article and be like, oh, my SEO went up this much next month. Whereas if you ran an ad campaign, you'd be like, oh, I got 10 more calls last month because I ran an ad campaign. So I don't put them in the same boat personally. Yeah, I would make a budget for this and a budget for that. I wouldn't say I have one budget. Because you won't be able to compare the two, and you'll end up dropping your SEO because you're like, oh, my Google ads are doing so much better.
Yeah,
great.
Thank you.
Excellent. Maybe one last question. Anybody have one?
Yeah.
Will.
Yeah. Aaron, what is the best phone number to reach you on?
Yes. So you can, if it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, it is 760-659-6778, and that is the office line. Anybody's willing. We are open. We do have our staff here, willing to talk to you. But if you want to talk to me on my cell phone, text me, anything like that. That is 760-421-8456, and I'm willing to, text you, talk to you, call, anything like that. But yeah, definitely either the office line or my personal cell phone works just fine.
Great. Thanks, Aaron.